Hello everyone, welcome back to Biology Bites. So today we will discuss about the identifying the genotypes in pedigree analysis. In our previous class, we explored the basics of pedigree analysis, including the hints. Today we will delve into determining genotypes through pedigree analysis. So yesterday we discussed about all the symbols and the inheritance patterns. So today we'll study some of the clues how to identify the genotypes or how to determine the genotypes. Now, what are the rules for identifying the autosomal dominant? So here, every affected individual, at least they'll be having one affected parent in the autosomal dominant. So in the autosomal dominant, please make a note, every affected individual has at least one affected parent. So the traits will not skip the generation. So yesterday in the last session we discussed. Affected individuals usually they will be in the heterozygous condition. For example, if father is having heterozygous condition crossed with a mother which is recessive, 50% of the children will be affected. Why miss? Unaffected. Here we are mentioning as dominant. We are not mentioning about recessive. Unaffected will be seen only in recessive. Affected will be seen only in homozygous dominant or in heterozygous dominant. Right? So autosomal dominant means how do you represent the genotypes? The genotype should be either dominant homozygous condition or dominant heterozygous condition. Then next, what are the rules for autosomal recessive? So here in the autosomal recessive, here the trait skips the generation. One generation you will see the affected trait, in the other generation you will see the normal, in the other generation you will see the affected one. Unaffected parents, here the parents in the first generation you will never see an affected gene. Unaffected parents can have affected children. So equal occurrence in both the sexes. So that means here, so if you take a parental combination, that means mother will be having heterozygous or father will be having heterozygous, only 25% of recessive, only AA will be affected, that is the homozygous recessive. So the affected one will be what? Homozygous recessive, because here we are discussing about the autosomal recessive, but the unaffected carrier will be heterozygous dominant. Heterozygous dominant will be unaffected carrier, though they might be the carrier but they will not express any disease. But homozygous dominant will be normal, they will neither be the carrier or never affect any, or they will not be affected at all. So here for autosomal recessive, the genotypes that will be represented as recessive A. Hope here for the autosomal dominant, the genotypes will be represented as what? Homozygous A or heterozygous A. Clear? Then next, rules for hex-linked recessive. Here more males will be affected than females. If we take affected father, no affected sons, since sons will get Y inheritance. So now in the male, the genes will be represented only by XY. So Y is the main character which inherits the male characteristics. So here carrier mothers, in the carrier mother, half sons will be affected. So here the genotype that will be represented as XH, XH. Then so if you here if you take XH and Y, so now if you cross XH, 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 Y, XH, Y. Okay, so that means 50% of the sons. So 50% of the sons will be what? Affected. 50% of the sons will be affected. So affected male is XHY. Carrier female will be XHXH. Okay, the normal females will be XHXH. So that means the sons will be affected only when they have what? XHY. Right? So 50% of the sons should have XHY in that condition. So here the sons will be affected. Clear? Then we'll go for X-linked dominant. All daughters of the affected father are affected. So no father to son transmission. Both males and females can be affected. In the X-linked dominant, both daughter or son will be affected. So affected male will be having XAY, then affected female will be having XAXA or XA. That is either homozygous or heterozygous. But what is the genotype that will be represented? Affected male XAY and affected male heterozygous X and homozygous X. Clear? So these are the genotypes that are represented in the pedigree analysis. Hope all these concepts are clear. In the next session, we'll solve some problems. Thank you.